Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Kingdom Soldier, and I am back again with another gameplay slash commentary. And today I just briefly want to talk about one of my heroes. He actually sits right now on the background of my desktop on my laptop and has for over a year since Martin Luther King Day last year is when I put his face on there. As someone who does what he did for a profession, he was a pastor his basically his whole adult life. His dad was a pastor, his grandfather was a pastor, and as someone who tries to follow in his footsteps, also, of course, as an African American, as someone who looks up to what he did for civil rights and what he did for our country. And I just look up to him as a man. You know, he, outside of the two presidents that are celebrated, there's only two other people whose birthdays are celebrated by our nation and are seen as holidays in most places by our nation, and that's Martin Luther King Jr. and Jesus, you know, on Christmas Day. And so it is with that, you know, as I think about his life, you know, my basically what I want to tell you guys today is that there's no difference in the inside of him and the inside of you, whether you believe that we're made from dust or whether you believe like me that we were created by an eternal being that was there in the beginning and will be there in the end, whenever that is, and that created everything that has life on this earth. No matter what you believe, we're all made of the same stuff. So it doesn't matter if, you know, Martin Luther King Jr. was the youngest man to ever receive the Nobel Peace Prize at 35. It doesn't matter if over an 11-year span during his life, he traveled 6 million miles and spoke at 2,500 different events and was arrested 20 times and was abused or assaulted 4 times. It doesn't matter that, you know, Time magazine named him Man of the Year and that we have a national holiday in his honor. And it doesn't matter that there are scholarships named after him. It doesn't matter that he inspired and motivated hundreds and thousands of young men to chase after their dream. It doesn't matter if he is one of the most known individuals. He is a household name in our country. What's on the inside of him is on the inside of you. And what that means is that the fact that Martin Luther King Jr., that this man, that he realized his dream. And at the end of his life, the last words that he said is, I'm not fearing anything. I'm not afraid of any man. I've been to the mountaintop. I've seen the promised land, and I may not get there with you, but we will get there. And it is almost as if he was saying, I know that my life is going to end soon, but my dreams have come true. And what I'm trying to say to you guys today is just like Dr. Martin Luther King's dream came true and we're living in it. You know, it's amazing that for a country that less than 300 years ago started with slaves, that someone, a descendant of those slaves, that someone that resembles those slaves was the president of our nation for the last 8 years. That is crazy. He lived an amazing life. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, he lived an amazing life. It is one worth studying. It is one worth emulating. It is one worth pursuing. It was a great life. It is a life that will never be forgotten. And you can do the same, because what was in him is in you. You may have grown up in an environment where you didn't have one of your parents, or you didn't have a lot of resources. You didn't have the experience, but the same stuff that's in him is in you. You know, I grew up with no dad. I had 2 different stepdads in my life, and I grew up in gangs. I grew up in trouble. I grew up making poor decisions, getting arrested by the cops. I grew up having to move to Washington from California so that I could avoid probation and parole. I grew up graduating from high school with a 2.3, I believe, GPA, and somehow going to college. I grew up as a first generation preacher. I didn't have anybody, you know, above me or behind me or that did this before me that could tell me what it was going to be like and what I needed to do. You know, I grew up being told by doctors that I couldn't have kids, and now I have 3. You know, I am walking right now in my dream, and I can tell you guys that your circumstance does not dictate your character. Your circumstance doesn't dictate your work ethic. Those things are dictated by you. And if you want to chase your dreams, then you can chase your dreams. And wherever you are, whatever you're dealing with, wherever you are in life, you can be what you were made to be and what you dream about being. And if Martin Luther King Jr. has taught us nothing else, it is that if you just believe that what the good that has been said about you is possible, you can achieve anything in this life. And I just want to encourage you guys, on this Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, that his life is worth you taking a gander at. It's worth you looking up some facts on. It's worth you even reading a book about the life of this guy. And during that 11 years that I told you about earlier, I forgot to tell you that he ran a 382-day bus boycott, which resulted in the fact that even to this day, we can ride on the buses wherever we want to sit. I also forgot to tell you that in that 11 years when he traveled 6 million miles and spoke 2,500 different occasions, which means every 36 hours he was speaking, he also wrote 5 books. He also had a wife and 2 girls and 2 boys. He also had his house bombed. But he never stopped. And I can promise you that if you never stop, you will not only see your dreams become a reality in your life or in the next, but you will also leave a legacy for those that are coming behind you. This is your boy, Kingdom Soldier, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.